Welcome everybody to the Get Bit Podcast, the podcast for blerds, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. Of course, the host with the most, of course, myself, Black Spartan, the man to my left, your right, Show Guy Joe. Too hot, can't comedy. Yeah, it definitely is hot, but how you feeling, sir?
Too hot, can't comedy. My lighting is weird because my overhead lights off, because if I start to glow anymore, it's still me sweating.
With that being said, guys, we are a little bit older. Sometimes language does fly, but at the same time, we do try to watch it. And also trailers. Sometimes trailers we play on here may have a little too much something for younger viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Although, let's be honest, it's pretty fun. So we do have some trailers and some news for the week. To start with, we might as well start with the marketing master genius, Ryan Reynolds, because only he can make The Bachelorette and Wolverine somehow relatable in a commercial. If you haven't seen it, well, here it is.
I can't do this.
Oh, no. Yes, you can.
What the hell am I even doing?
You're explaining to Bachelor Nation why our movie is the perfect date movie while holding this. Oh, I love the smell of sunflowers.
I'm not doing either of those.
Yes, you are, because you are a confident, powerful person, and 18 to 49-year-old women are super important demo for us. No cap.
What?
No cap.
What does that mean?
It's what all my fellow Gen Zers say. Slay, FR, trauma, Genergy, 4-hour work week, quiet quitting. Look, the point is...
I'm out of here.
All right, stay off camera. I'll handle this.
Hey Nation, Deadpool here again to tell you that our movie has everything you love. We really zoom into complex relationship dynamics. There's ample amounts of cheeky humor, and in the end, well, I'm not gonna lie, it was quite a payday for us.
You promised me The Bachelorette was coming.
I made a lot of promises, buddy, and I'll tell you, you are delivering.
Come again.
Again, how is it that, for reasons beyond my comprehension, Deadpool and Wolverine is definitely going to be the movie that everybody wants to see. Of course, we do know that's coming out very soon, a couple of weeks from now, July 26th. Commercials and marketing aside, it's going to be everywhere. So, there's really nothing more I can say of that, except that I'm looking forward to the next commercial that's going to have those two in it. But Joe, what more can we say to this? The fact that, if you have a commercial, why not have Deadpool or Wolverine or just Deadpool behind it? You muted, Joe.
I'm guessing no cap means no butt, or no Captain America butt. So we'll go with that. We'll run with that. Yeah, no cap, no lie. I always love it. I love when you see a Canadian use American slang. It's just like, and then they really go into we just need that 1849 demographic. It's very important to us. I love that part. But no, again, what more can you say about Deadpool except if you haven't seen the DiGiorno's commercial, that's out there too. But aside from that, speaking of Marvel, we do have some trailers, including I want to start before we get to Captain America and get our thoughts on that. We do got to talk about Agatha because, well, if you haven't seen her trailer for Marvel's Agatha all along, you should definitely be interested, especially if you're a fan of, let's see, what did they say? Hocus Pocus, Witches of Eastwick, Death Becomes Her, The Craft. Anyway, you'll get the references I'm talking about once you see the trailer. But Joe, anything you want to add to that before we play it? Reminds me of The Evil Dead.
That also. Anyway, here's Marvel Television's Agatha all along.
Another beautiful day.
Surprised to see you out here, Detective. Jane Doe, found her down here by the water.
Cause?
Blunt force trauma.
What happened to you? I have a lead in the case, but I can't shake this feeling I'm seeing it wrong.
Is this really how you see yourself? That witch is gone, leaving you trapped in her distorted spell. Claw your way out.
I miss the glory days. She took every bit of power I had, but I can be that witch again. Well, the gang's all here. Let's hit the road. I'm gonna walk the witch's road. The road is a death wish. Join me.
What witch in her right mind would join Agatha Harkness's coven?
Not looking for right-minded witches, as it happens.
Sweetheart, you okay? Oh my God! Whoa! What's she doing? Where's she going?
Okay, so that, guys, was the trailers for Marvel Television's Agatha All Along. As you can see, a 2-episode premiere, September the 18th. I'm hooked. And I'm going to be honest, I am so proud of Disney/Marvel actually taking risk. This is not going to be, I can put this over so nicely. It's not blue sky, happy action stuff. This is going to be kind of a darker story, and I'm okay with it because this is what we've been hoping for. You kind of have to get away from the, I'm not going to say superhero stories, but if you can tell a story surrounding a character that may not be known very well, it can be successful. Don't believe me? Ask James Gunn. He did very well with Guardians of the Galaxy. So with this, again, I mean, the references I gave, Hocus Pocus, Joe said Evil Dead. I've had others sit there and tell me Witches of Eastwick. Again, I am just looking to see what Marvel can do with a character, like I said, not very well known. However, because of her connection to Wanda and WandaVision, it does give an opening to see where her character story does go. But I'm hooked. But Joe, anything you want to add to that?
Well, if we look really slowly at the trailer, the Wanda is dead.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know which. Well, we know which one. It's the one from not the superpowered by Chthon Wanda. This looks to be like the mom who had her 2 kids. Wanda was killed and dumped in the woods.
Yeah,
seems weird. I believe one of the little boy that is one of the little boys.
Mm-hmm.
Older. I may be mistaken about that. Being Agatha's sidekick, that kid there, although it could. I think that is one of the 2 actors that played the twins.
So you think one of them could be Wiccan?
No, he's most definitely Wiccan. There's no way around it. It's possible this could lead us to standard universe Wanda, because she ain't dead. I don't care how much Marvel says it. A red poof in a crumbling tower does not equal dead. This is the Marvel universe. No body, not dead. And even sometimes, even if you got a body, you still ain't dead.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We all know Wanda's not dead.
As for the show itself, kind of got some Evil Dead vibes where it's a horror comedy. I hope it stays that route and doesn't drift too far off into the comedy aspect of it. I want this to be kind of a funny, creepy thing.
Mm-hmm.
How to put this? I want it to be the new Sabrina. I don't want it to be the old Sabrina series.
So you want to mix the 2?
No, I want it to be fully the new Sabrina. Okay,
so that was on the full on horror edgy side.
Yeah, horror edgy, but some comedy. Clearly,
okay.
Like the two aunts sitting out on the porch going "Hail Satan," stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
But I don't want it to drift over into Melissa Joan Hart one, except for the fact when her uncle was Shang Tsung.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense, and I'm the same way. I do want it to, like I said, I want Marvel to stick with the horror side. I want them to stick to that side and tell a story. I don't want it to have to say, I don't want you to water it down. I don't want you to make it kid friendly, because there are some stories in Marvel that are not kid friendly. And I am not against the fact of them wanting to push the envelope. So we'll definitely see come September the 18th for the first 2 episodes and really go from there. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. But the other Marvel trailer that did drop today, actually, because we weren't expecting this, and I'm talking about Captain America: Brave New World. As you guys know, Harrison Ford did actually take on the role of Ross. There were reshoots, which gave some people pause, but the trailer has been released, and I'm going to be honest. Before I play it, I'm just going to say my faith has been restored. But Joe, anything you want to add to it before we play the trailer?
I really wanted Seth Rollins and the Serpent Society to be there.
Didn't we all? But if you haven't seen it, guys, here's the trailer for Captain America: Brave New World.
Wilson. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for the invite, sir. I have to admit, I'm still getting used to the new look.
They said lose the mustache or lose the election. You and I haven't always agreed in the past, but I want to make another run at making Captain America an official military position.
And if we disagree on how to manage this situation, then what happens?
Work with me, Sam. We'll show the world a better way forward.
Sir, your inner circle's been compromised. Either you can't see that, or you don't want to. What if it's a trap? Global power is shifting. You're just a pawn.
You may be Captain America, but you're not Steve Rogers.
You're right. I'm not.
All I can say is this gives me Winter Soldier vibes, and I am not complaining. That, guys, you can see, was the trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. Will be in theaters, if you believe it, February 14th, 2025. So I guess it's Valentine's Day. But again, to take away from this, guys, if this is the direction they're going into, kind of giving a Winter Soldier feel, I'm not complaining. I love the fact that we are going to see Harrison Ford as now President Ross, because, again, he does become president in the storyline. And you're going to see the next Falcon. Of course, the guy that was, I forgot his name already, who played also aside Sam Wilson's character in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So he's basically going to be taking over the Falcon mantle. And, of course, to see Isaiah Bradley also get his role. And, again, how it looks like he may or may not have attacked President Ross. And at the very end, we see Red Hulk. I mean, what more can we say of this, Joe?
We also saw Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
What role has he been cast in?
I have a guess. They didn't say officially because I was trying. I say he's Bad News Pete.
You say who?
I think he's basically the ex-SHIELD soldier, soldier known as Bad News Pete, because his connection to almost everybody in the MCU, and I keep thinking he's him, because they did not say, they still haven't said who Giancarlo Esposito's who Mr. Giancarlo's character is. They didn't say his name, they didn't say the character. All you see is a guy that looks like he might be the main protagonist, or at least close to it. But that's my guess. Because like they said, because according to Mr. Esposito, he said, nobody will really figure this out At the same time, he also has a television series. So this movie is not the only thing he's going to be in. So whoever he is casted as, I'll give it to Marvel. They must have got the same people that was on the GTA League, because nobody has said anything about his character. But the movie, the tone, I mean, it looks great. I just hope, and I'm going to be honest, I kind of hope it gets a harder rating than PG. I'm okay with PG-13. I'm okay if you even go edgier. Well, dare I say that Deadpool may not be the only rated R movie. Do I think it's gonna get rated R? No, because this is gonna basically be geared toward young adults and kids. So at most PG, maybe PG-13, maybe PG-13 is pushing it. But I mean, overall, I'm hooked. But what about you?
No, I got the same vibes from it. Definitely Winter Soldier-esque, more of a political thriller with some superheroes rather than a superhero movie with some political thriller. It's nice we're getting to see. The one thing I don't like is Sam getting a more Steve-esque uniform, rather than moving away from the Sam uniform. I think that's the biggest issue I have. Because when I think Sam Wilson, Captain America, I think white uniform. I don't think blue.
Yep.
I'm guessing that's because he takes the president up on his offer and he has to get the standard government issue captain uniform. So I'm wondering if it's going to go white uniform, blue uniform, white uniform.
And that makes me think that's what that's going to be too. Because I said the same thing. It's like, when you saw and let's be honest, it's the Wakandan suit. But still, you expected to see the white and blue suit, and seeing the more toned down overall blue suit, I agree with you. That might have been, this is us giving you the John Walker treatment in a way, without the disrespectful ass whooping. But I completely agree. I think that's where the suit comes into place, because I know the first time it was showing pictures of it, a lot of people were sitting there going, wait a minute, why are we changing the suit? So I get it. If it's a red herring, it's a red herring. If this is just a part of the story, I'm willing to rock with it. But Red Hulk, I got to ask this question, Joe. Do we think that they're going to keep it the same? That we will see Ross as Red Hulk?
Well, yeah, we have to. He's there. We don't get. That's not really the option. I'm confused by the question.
It's just the fact. Well, here's what I'm saying. Because do we think? I guess the better question I'm asking you is: do we think Marvel will divert giving Red Hulk's identity to somebody else?
No, it's too synonymous with Thunderbolt Ross. It's too bad that Hulk is relegated to team ups.
Yeah,
because I do want to see the Red Hulk, Green Hulk fight.
Yeah,
and I use this very, very lightly because me and you always preach, never say this, but I think we deserve a Red Hulk, Green Hulk fight. I think that's something that we are owed as Marvel patrons.
Yeah,
I don't say that lightly, again, because we preach never say that, but
but it's okay to be honest. We do want to see a Green and Red Hulk fight. We do want to see it.
Definitely want to see Vietnam Cap go up against Red Hulk. I'm fairly certain we all know how that fight's going to go because of Isaiah's age and how funky his powers are, but I do want to see that fight.
That'll be interesting.
I mean, this definitely will lead into Thunderbolts, because I guarantee you if he remains president, he's going to all right, government-sanctioned Avengers are out, government-sanctioned team, Thunderbolts.
Yeah, it would make sense, although Thunderbolts is Thunderbolts still slated to come out in 2025 or 2026?
They've gone through so much stuff, I'm not sure anymore, but still this does have will probably have heavy repercussions moving forward in the Earth scale amount of the Marvel universe. So I have no doubt this will dovetail into Thunderbolts, and then the next movies will cover other aspects of what's going on.
Yeah, I can see that. But still, it still looks good. My faith has been restored in that everybody was worried about the next Captain America movie, but if this is the route they go, I'm freaking sold. But yeah. But before we get to our last trailer, because like I said, we just had a few of them this week before we get into some news, into our comics. PlayStation Plus people, because I can say that now because I have a PlayStation 5. I just haven't had a chance to play it. But you PlayStation 5 people, the new catalog for July starting, these are all playable July 16th. So that would be sometime next week. The games that are going to be available on Premium and Extra, the Jackbox Party Pack number 9, Remnant 2, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion, and Pathfinder. I'm going to scroll down for that one. That's too small of reading. Let me just scroll down to what that one is. Thank you. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, and No More Heroes, along with Traveler Strikes Again, No More Heroes Complete Edition, Deadcraft, Steep. Wow, I haven't seen Steep in a long time. And also on the PlayStation Premium VR Classics, you have Job Simulator, Summoner. Ooh, wow. That's a long time ago. Ratchet & Clank Size Matters, Jean d'Arc. Oh, really? That'll be available in the VR and Premium. So again, not a bad haul this month.
We got some banger stuff this month.
Yeah. I need to play Remnant 2. I've been hearing nothing but great things about it. Jackbox, if you've done a Jackbox game, they're just fun. They're fun to play with a party pack. Let's just be honest.
You're just there to play a non-sponsored version of what's that one card game? Everybody that's hyper offensive.
Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, you're just there to play a digital version. Turn whatever game you're playing into a Cards Against Humanity game. That's all it is.
Yeah, still fun though. No More Heroes, because I just remember that. I just remember that from Nintendo. That was fun.
I really want to play 3.
Say what?
I really want to play 3.
I still have to get to that eventually. Now Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I still want to play that. I have yet to have a chance to play that, so I'm looking forward to that. And Pathfinder, again, I can't speak on that, and I can't speak on Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, but I can assume if they're in the catalog, somebody plays them. But all of these will be available depending on your PlayStation Plus subscription, July 16th. Anything we want to add to that on that one, Joe?
Well, we can segue by talking about subscriptions into our next big news item.
Oh yeah, if you're a Microsoft fan, you're gonna be mad. Yes, because Game Pass, the one thing that we basically told Microsoft that you got right, the same thing that we told Microsoft, hey, making day one games available on Game Pass was actually a great idea. The fact that you sat there and saw PlayStation go through all these tier subscriptions and looked and laughed and said, haha, you're basically trying to do what we've done. Well, apparently Microsoft decided to take a page out of PlayStation because starting July 10th, actually 2 days ago, these price changes will go into effect for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, Pass Core, and PC Game Pass. Here's the problem. Game Pass for console will no longer be available for new members. Members who are already subscribed to Game Pass for console, have automatic payment renewal enabled, will be able to continue their membership. So if you do have Game Pass for console and you have auto pay, you're grandfathered in until that removes. However, here's the problem that a lot of people are going to be very, very perturbed, if you will.
Oh, no. So hold up before we get into that.
Okay.
So I listened to Video Game Apocalypse today.
Mm-hmm.
It's even worse than we thought.
Oh Lord.
So before we get into the price tiers, because remember, Xbox was very simple on Game Pass. You either had games for gold or you had Ultimate. That was it.
Right.
You could also go out and prepay ahead. You get like however many years and pay it outwards. Yeah, they're only doing, as of 2 days ago, you can only pay in advance 13 months ahead only. Now, if you've gotten more outward prior to that, they will honor that. But for anybody who's trying to get ahead of this deal, it's too late. You can only get 13 months advance subscription service. But what do they say? This basically was the net, and I'm quoting Video Game Apocalypse. God bless those guys. They do the hard work, so I can just copycat them here on the show. But I will always at least credit my stuff. The best quote I've heard is, "This took what was initially Netflix for video games and turned it into every streaming service with ad tiers."
Fully agree with that. Fully agree with that analogy. I fully agree with it. Because yeah, it's that bad. And people, and this is the thing is, if you don't believe me, let me just read off
individual tiers of this.
Yeah, the tiers is what's going to kill you. So, Xbox Game Pass standard tier for new members, $15 a month, will not include access to day one releases, EA Play, Game Pass for PC, and cloud gaming. $15 a month, and you only get access to the library. However, the library is limited if you cut out EA Play and Game Pass for PC, which means that you cannot use this for PC gaming. And forget saves because you don't have access to cloud gaming. For $15 a month, Game Pass Ultimate will be going, again, includes everything that are there. Basically what a lot of people have, because, for a lot of us, we were happy paying $19.99 a month. However, that price is going from $17 a month to $20 a month. And Xbox Game Pass Core, which offers online access, and of course the library is smaller, is going from a yearly subscription of $60 to $75. And of course, if you do want to get it monthly, you still can get it for $10. PC Game Pass is increasing its pricing from $10 a month to $12, but that PC Game Pass will still include day one releases. So, as Joe so eloquently put it, welcome to Netflix with ads. Now, here's my thing, and I say this all the time. I don't understand why Microsoft is doing this outside the fact that they are trying to squeeze more money. They're trying to squeeze more money out of gamers. Now, again, if like Joe said, you either had gold or you had ultimate, people could actually pick and choose what they wanted to go buy. That's fine. I know for me, I loved Ultimate. I love the library. I love the fact I can play online. I love the fact it was only $16, $17 a month. Cool. I was glad to pay that. Now, is it going to $20 a month? Will that deter me? No, because it's a $3. It's a $3 increase for Ultimate. I still get everything I want. I'm paying $3 more. Okay, fine. I'll live with it. Here's the scapegoat of it all. That initially you had day one access for standard, for core, and PC Game Pass. So regardless of the tiers, you all had day one access. Now Microsoft is sitting there saying, "Nah, we're giving you too much. We're not getting a return on our investment." And do I think that this will turn off some Xbox people? Yes. Because, well, now this is basically you trying to, and Mr. FileMax beat me to the punch. It's the result of Microsoft spending without a solid plan to recoup those costs. 100% correct.
So here's some of the other things that we can gauge on that they have not said, but again, they get brought up. Let's look at Starfield. Day one and release. More people went and bought individual copies than getting Game Pass. So it did not help Game Pass move forward.
Right.
It barely moved the needle for Microsoft. Here's the other part there that is very suspiciously not there. Notice how they're not talking about who and who's not getting Call of Duty in this.
Very much. After their Activision acquisition, and how many players were mortified that let's be honest, PlayStation players may have been mortified that Microsoft may turn this into an exclusive and basically hoard them. That's gonna be interesting. But you're 100% right. They're sitting there. What they're not saying is what we really should be concerned about. But my thing is just the fact that Microsoft, you really had a corner of the market with day one games. You really did. and you, for reasons beyond my comprehension, chose to try to squeeze that little part out, because what you're basically trying to make people do is go to Ultimate. That's the end game, if you really want to be honest. You want everyone to go to Ultimate because at that tier, if you will, you're getting the most bang for your buck out of your users. Now, I know for a lot of people that might not be what you want. That's fine. But ultimately, that's the plan. You're basically going to squeeze everything you can because, well, basically you're a profit hog. Let's just call it what it is. Now, here's the thing. Microsoft may shoot themselves in the foot because if your day one games are, well, let's just be honest, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League level, you might have a lot of people canceling their subscriptions. And then that might backfire on you because at least you're making your money off the Core Pass and PC Game Pass because folks are still playing the day one games. You're kind of bankrolling a lot on the fact that these day one games are going to entice people to upgrade their subscriptions. Don't think it'll happen, but that's the gamble. But yeah, I was like, Microsoft, you were meant to bring balance to the force. You were meant to bring balance, not destroy it. You were not.
The other issue I think is a lot of developers really don't like day one on Game Pass because that undercuts their bottom line. Because that means no one's going to go out and buy the game; they're just going to go get it on Game Pass. And I don't know how and you know, guys. I'm going to talk. This is kind of talking out of my butt because I don't know how digital sales of day one Game Pass are actually translated to actual sales. But like, I guarantee you, probably cuts into those developer profit margins.
It does. I mean, I would have to think, but also these are probably the same developers that were absorbed by Microsoft. So you know, that's also that too. But I just think at that moment, this might be a little bit of them being greedy, really. But they're banking on the fact those day one games are going to keep people enticed. Will it? Will it not? Remains to be determined. But again, dang, Microsoft, of all the things you could have done, that's what you do. Yeah, you can see why people might be slightly miffed at you. But again, we'll see. But moving right along, guys, because like I said, not a lot of news this week. We do have one more trailer, just because we weren't expecting Captain America, Brave New World. We were not expecting Gladiator 2. And I'm going to be honest, after watching this trailer, I might actually watch it. Just because Denzel Washington basically played Training Day Denzel Washington in a Roman movie. You'll see what I'm getting at very soon.
I remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
Did you hear that crowd? The greatest temple Rome ever built. The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
General Acacius, there are victories yet still to come.
Rome has so many subjects, she must feed them.
They can eat war.
The arena turns slaves into gladiators, the gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. That rage is your gift.
This is about survival! Survive! Hold together, and when it charges, break for the wall.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
Too much.
The general will do.
Rome must fall. I need to only give it a push.
We'll make it out alive. All right. Tears on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum door.
This ring belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you.
What is the dream of Rome?
Blood stains.
For people are not free.
I was owned. Now I will control an empire.
I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Strength among us. This how Rome treats its heroes.
Tears on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
The gods have spoken!
Oh, sorry, guys. So that was the trailer for Gladiator 2. As you can see, will be theaters November 22nd. Now, again, I have sat there and said that, I was worried because I love the first Gladiator. I thought Russell Crowe did an amazing job. I thought Joaquin Phoenix played a great villain. The fact that I think it was almost now 4 or 5 years ago, give or take a number, that Ridley Scott wanted to do a sequel to Gladiator 2, and everybody's like, not really sure where you're going to go with on this one. Trailer does look good. I kind of got Training Day vibes because Denzel was kind of like, I just want to just overthrow the empire, and you got an unknown character that apparently really remembers Maximus, and Mr. Final Max is kind of curious how they got from Gladiator to the sequel. Me too. Just because of how the first one ended. But I'm gonna be honest, the action looks great. I'm willing to give it a shot. Come November to watch it. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
That new character's name is probably going to turn out to be Judah Ben-Hur.
Judah. I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna go with Spartacus for a second, but no.
Oh God.
I just,
He's got his own problems.
I mean, it would be interesting and corny at the same time, but still. But no, it does. I mean, like I said before, it's gonna they're them explaining the story, the sequel wise and how it relates to the first one. Yeah, that's gonna be a little hard to pull off. Is the action gonna be there? Yes. Who doesn't love gladiator fights? I mean, they have to go extreme. I mean, the first one was tigers. This is now with rhinos. I mean, we're gonna see. But again, I'm just looking forward to it. But yeah, Joe. Anything else you want to add to that besides Denzel just being Denzel?
Why is this even a thing?
Look at it this way. We could have another Winnie the Pooh murder movie.
Oh, beats having a cowboy movie, so sure.
I'm just saying we could have what they call that, Blood and Honey Part 2.
I think we could have that made into a comic that's crossing over with the Bambi horror movie.
I still want a Where's Waldo serial killer movie. That's just me. That to me makes sense. Why not do a character that you have to find, and he finds you and he kills you? The mystery goes on. It's like Freddy Krueger with a picture book. It writes itself, but I digress. And you're right. They did put a boat in the Coliseum, and then that actually showed in the trailer too. But yeah, it just looks like it's going to be over the top, and that's fine. I can dig it and work with it. Also, like I said, we don't really have a lot of news outside of possible Double Dragon coming out, but we don't really have a lot of news on that. That's just kind of been put out there in the verse to see who actually gets attention to. Inside Out 2 was actually a good movie. I actually went to go see it with kids, so that was definitely fun. And yeah, college football, EA Sports is going to be making its way back. That's going to be that. I can't wait for the chat rooms on that one. But there is one other thing I did want to talk about, Joe, before we go into comics, and I wanted your opinion on this. X-Men, and then it just popped in my head. X-Men 97. Again, actually, I'll take this back. That was a terrible segue. X-Men 97 actually has a new writer. This writer was Matthew Chauncey, who actually wrote for Marvel's What If. He's actually going to be taking over season 2 of Marvel's X-Men 97, which has been very well received. Because Bayo de Mayo, which we all thought he was coming back, we all thought that he was talking with everybody after each episode, giving everybody homework to actually, get prepared for the series, which we did find out that, he's not coming back. So Matthew Chauncey is taking over for the next season, and it seems that they've already done some rewrites as they're setting up for season 2. Now, here's the one thing, Joe, I wanted to ask you, because again, we talked about X-Men 97 on here from beginning to end. We both thought it was great. Because now it's got a different writer. And don't get me wrong, Marvel's What If series has been great. Should we be worried that we're not going to get the same caliber of writing, or is it the fact that, hey, this guy's already proven himself, let's give him a shot with this?
Well, DeMeo already did season 2 and gave a lot of the scripts and outline and drafts. So my question is we know where season 2 starts. Depending on where season ends 3, this can go multiple different ways, because this dude's going to be the main writer for season 3 and probably season 4, the final season. So, it's just kind of dependent on how season 2 ends and what they set up for the coming down the road.
Right.
This guy's fine in the grand scheme of things. He wrote decent stuff, what material he was allowed to use, because, guys, you have to have permission to use certain things and whatnot, because Feige does have a continuity, is a continuity snob, even though he's wrong about what world this is. But, both me and Ms. Marvel will always be there to correct him. But, like I said, you got to know, we need to know where season 2 ends.
Right.
If it ends in, Days of Future Past, probably not this dude. If it ends in Krakoa, maybe. If it ends somewhere else, I don't know. Where's another good one to do it? If it somehow ends in House of M,
okay,
we are in his wheelhouse, because that is a what-if style universe. We just need to know where season 2 ends. So that's going to make the world of difference with this writer, because we know Brian DeMeo had his hands in season 2. So we can confidently say we're fine. Even with the scripts being revised, it's still his overall vision until we get to season 3. Then season 3 is its own thing. So, like I said, if we end up in someplace darker, maybe not this guy, because the darkest he got was Marvel Zombies, which was fine.
It was, but it was more.
He's looking. This dude, I want to say, is a bit more grandiose and whatnot. And don't get me wrong, he did a great job. We've had Ultron Supreme, Peg Supreme, Sinister Strange, great characters. Some very small, great worlds for a very small amount of time, but those are different worlds in small bites, not a whole overarching season. So, and this dude's strong suit is what if to us. I don't know what else he's done. So, if it leads into House of M, I think we're safe with this dude. If it leads into anything else, I don't know.
Need more Bruce Campbell and Marvel Zombies. Yeah, I could see that. But
he was there. He was the reason for it.
Well, I mean, he was there wasn't he there in I'm trying to remember the exact scene. Right before Captain America showed up as a zombie, wasn't he the person? Wasn't he the one voicing one of the characters?
Probably, but I mean, in the comics, Ash is the reason for the Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'm willing to give the guy a shot. Like you said, he established himself on What If as a writer. So the man can write episodes. Could he write them could he write him? I mean, let's kind of be honest. We're not going to possibly get the same degree of production per se as far as writing goes. I mean, they're going to throw budget-wise, animation should be good. Animation, that area, design should be fine. The writing that we were getting, it's going to be, I want to say that it's going to be slightly different, but it just depends on how they go with it. Like you said, it depends on where they start. But I'm willing to give the guy a shot to actually see what he does because, like I said, X-Men 97 can open the doors to other animated series. We keep hoping. It's just kind of a wait and see moment. So with that being said, we are going to go ahead and move on to our comic pools, guys. But before we do that, we always do want to show love to Rick's Comic City. If you haven't been to Rick's Comic City in the Nashville area, especially if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, you definitely should. They show us love because we show them love. They have been Nashville's #1 go-to place for comics, collector items, anime, mangas, you name it. Definitely been doing that for like #1 for the last 7 years. They have 2 locations, one in Nashville, one in Clarksville, Tennessee. Definitely check them out. And of course, their web shop there at rickscomiccity.com. Let them know the guys at Get Bit sent you. It doesn't get you any discounts, but again, you see our mugs on their television, so they show us love. So we want to show them love. And kids, we have said this many a times on this show. Read the banned books. We know you guys right now are enjoying summer vacation, at least for the next couple of weeks anyway, before you go back. You're probably going to notice in your library or wherever you do get your books, there's going to be a section there's going to be in librarians who set this up, a section called banned books. Do yourself a favor, read them because there's something in banned books you definitely should know. They don't want you to know to expand your mind, expand your creativity. Reading is fundamental. I cannot stress that enough as an adult. So please, guys, read the banned books, support your local libraries, support your local comic book stores. And if you're in the Nashville area, definitely support Rick's Comic City. Trust me, you will miss these places once they're gone. But Joe, I see that you're setting up so much for the comics, right?
Are we not talking about Blerdcon?
I was going to kind of say that toward the end, but
okay. I was just like, why are we not talking about it? It's in the title.
Yeah, that's more of a plug, but I was saving that toward the end. just because again, our other partner, Tafari TV, he's currently at Blerdcon. So again, if you are in the Washington DC area, definitely check out Blerdcon. It is happening right now. If you do see Tafari TV or Chris Fury or Lady Mandalore or Geek by Heart, just some of the names that are associated with us in Blerd's Eye View, definitely check them out. Say hi. Be kind. Don't make it creepy. That's all I'm asking for. But again, Blerdcon is going on. If you don't know what Blerdcon is, let me just show you guys really quickly. Blerdcon is a con that is currently going on in Washington, D.C. Basically, the term is Summer Madness. It just started this Friday, July 14th, and will go on until Sunday on the 14th. You can definitely still purchase your badges there, guys, and you can go onto their site at Blerdcon TV, or you can go onto the Blerdcon. You can actually go onto the Blerdcon site on YouTube, and there's actually a stream going on right now through Blerd Station that you can actually watch interviews and things of that nature. So if you're not able to make the Blerdcon, or if you're not in the Washington, D.C. area, definitely go to blerdcon.com, look up Blerdcon on YouTube, and you'll be able to see all the festivities, interviews, and things of that nature. So definitely check it out. But again, if you are in the Washington, D.C. area, guys, I implore you, check it out. Again, if you've never been to a con, you highly should. They're definitely fun. So, but yeah. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to our comp pulls of the week. So I see, Joe, you're queued up. Whenever you're ready, sir.
First off, we got Absolute Power, written by Mark Waid, art by Dan Mora, and letters by Alejandro Sanchez. This is the big summer event for DC, which turns out to be very akin to a Marvel event when you read it. Basically, Amanda Waller is finally putting a stop to all superheroes as she deems everybody a threat because she's just so tired of being rewritten by the Crisis, We don't even know if she's the Viola Davis or the dancing isekai version of Amanda Waller anymore. She doesn't even know.
Just my thought. I got that out of my head.
It's not my fault. That song is a banger.
Just when I thought I got that out of my head.
Such a great song by Dad. So she's deploying AI news media to make the superheroes seem like they've gone nuts and started massacring general populace. Meanwhile, she is putting out Task Force 7, which is version of power draining Amazobots, and just slowly picking off Justice League and the Justice Society. Pretty much the Earth's superhero community nullifying their powers. And then imprisoning them. And it's really good, but for whatever reason, and this is how good this book is, even though I do say it's a Marvel thing. In Marvel, this is issue 1 for this event. In Marvel, this is issue 4 of 6, where things get real bad right before the heroes turn these things around. In DC, this is issue 1, where things get real bad, and they're only going to get worse, probably.
Yeah. Although I will give it to it, I will give it to how they're setting this up. The fact that she literally has arguably three of the most powerful beings, and yet she has them under her control. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to spoil it. I highly recommend that you guys do read Absolute Power, because I did not see this coming on how they set this up. Although if you really look at the picture that Joe's putting up there, you kind of can see 2 other characters right there that are basically under that, have something to do with it. But again, I do like what they're going with this. I do like where they're going with this so far. The only thing I will say is that one DC character is hard to believe as far as their position in the story. I will just leave it at that.
Plus, it's Dan Morrow doing God's work with art.
Yeah.
Okay. I missed one page, but we are looking at the interior for Task Force number 7. Task Force 7 number 1. Last Son. Each issue is going to be about one of the Amazobots. This is based around the Superman Amazobot, known as Last Son. This is written by Leah Williams with art by Caitlin Yarsky and colors by Alex Gumries. Basically, Amanda has deployed the Superman Amazobot Last Son with Parasite against Parasite's will and consent to the Rock of Eternity to ensure that they have full control over the Rock Eternity and all of its magical contents, as well as to ensure the capture of Billy Batson and the Marvel family. Good fight. We learn what's probably going to be the undoing of this entire bout, because while fighting Black Adam, it seems like the Last Son has murdered Parasite. And he starts to feel bad about it. And Agatha's like, oh, when you take their powers, you don't just take the powers. You kind of take other attributes. And man, nobody likes anybody dying worse than Superman.
Right.
But, I'll say good book. This kind of hints at what will be the undoing of all the Amazos or Waller's plan potentially already. But, that's just hinted at. I enjoyed it.
Oh no, it was definitely that. Like I said, I was worried at first because, again, whenever DC does some sort of crossover event, we didn't really need another Night Terrors, and Infinite Crisis is either hit or miss. But I do like Absolute Power. I do like where it's going with this. I just hope they keep that pace up. I hope.
It's a very small amount of time too, so it's not like Night Terrors where Night Terrors interfere with every book.
Right.
like just ground all the storylines to halt. Like in these books, like we're about to look at Green Lantern. Green Lantern's overall story is still moving forward. It's just Earth is dealing with absolute power, but everything else going on in space is still the Green Lantern story.
Gotcha. Yeah. So at least it doesn't feel like everything's tied into one event. So that makes sense.
Yep. Speaking of which, Green Lantern number 13, Absolute Power tie-in. Amanda Waller has King Shark beating the crap out of Hal Jordan because they're trying to learn how Hal Jordan had even got a ring and powered it. This is written by Jeremy Adams with pencils by Fernando Parson, ink by Claire Albert, and colors by Ramon Fernando Jr. So on Earth, Hal is captured and depowered. We don't know what happened with Carol. In space, Jessica Cruz catches up with Silac, and we see that Kyle's in the corner looking a little colorful as his uniform is literally shifting colors of all the rainbow. That man's about to become a White Lantern again. There's no other way of saying this. We are also... Someone did something to Koger, so Sinestro's still pissed, got the red ring, and now we have a new Lantern Corps being introduced.
It's
the Great Lanterns, the Corps of Sadness.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
So here's how I defend this. Here's how I will defend this. Sadness is an emotion.
Yes.
As much as I like the White Lanterns and the Black Lanterns, life and death are not emotions. They are states of being.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not, but sadness as a great, I'm just like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Maybe it gets explained. Maybe we see more of a demonstration. I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yes, I mean, I'm fully on board. We have not, guys, we have not had a new Lantern Corps introduced since Robert Venditti took over and made the other Lantern Corps, or, actually made the Yellow Lanterns an official thing.
Right.
But we have not had a new corps introduced since the Robert Venditti era, where all the red, the blue, the pink, the violet, the indigo, all that stuff got introduced. So, a new corps coming in, that's fine. Sadness is an emotion that tracks. It's part of an emotional spectrum. Sadness is on the range of emotions. So, so we get. Does that mean their anthem is that one Black Parade song from whatever?
Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Yes, that's it.
I can see that.
It's like every time they come in, just like that music immediately starts playing.
Oh, at least the piano. I can see that. Heck, actually, you know what? I think we might get writers' ideas.
It'd be like the Different Sports Evil Incorporated theme song.
I can kind of see that, but I can see just why is there a piano playing every time we enter the room? Hey, y'all enjoy the Black Parade, in this case, the Great Parade. But no, I can see that. That would actually be kind of funny.
And then we also get some other stuff. We learn what Theos, the president of the United Federation of Planets, what his big plan is and how he got raised and whatnot. Overall, a good issue. I like where things are going in the Green Lantern, but now it's finally starting to turn around to where I enjoy it because it's focusing on a greater aspect of the universe. I just don't like it when it's only focusing on, and it doesn't even have to just be Hal. I mean, even when it was Kyle, the book was about Kyle and Jen, or Kyle and rebuilding the Corps, or Kyle, John, and Jen, or Alan. Like, I like when the world is about a universe or the Corps. I don't like it when it's about a single lantern. And even when it's Hal, I don't like. We all know my thing with Hal and thing, but like, I like that the book is moving more, not away from Hal, but expanding beyond just Hal.
Yeah, I can go with that. We do know your hatred for Hal Jordan, though.
Yes, I cannot stand him. He is so one note. Moving over into Marvel, we are looking at The Life of Wolverine. This is written by Jim Zub with art by Ramon Box and colors by Java Tartaglia.
Mm-hmm.
So we are looking at a new continuity line for Wolverine. It tells you from how his whole life has gone in the Marvel Comics. We usually do not look at Wolverine books because I am one of those few people that looked at Wolverine during the 90s like he is oversaturated and I do not care for the small, pointy, stabby man. This was not a contrarian take. It's just one of those things like he insists upon himself. Over the years, unlike Hal, I've grown to appreciate him because he's become more nuanced of a character.
Yeah.
They made him more than just stabby man, get mad.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, when you talk about Old Man Logan and then his time in Osaka and then, well, different aspects. So, yeah.
Which is the other super cool thing about this book is if you go to the back, there's a full glossary that tells you what issues of the Wolverine comic were discussed or depicted in this episode. So you can go to your local comic store, go to the dollar bin, go to the back issues, find those issues and read those stories.
And some of them are pretty good.
That is probably one of the greatest ways I've ever seen a comic book go help out a new reader and help out your local comic book store ever. It's just like, oh, did you like this time when he was fighting with Captain America? Go read these issues.
Right. Which it does help. Oh, yeah. So imagine, like I said, that just having a roadmap is always a great thing for reading. Especially for stories that when we tell people, of course, me, Joe, and others, we tell them like, hey, that was a story that actually happened, and we can literally recite to the issue number. It's not because we're not considering ourselves authority figures. It's just the fact that we want to point you guys to the same things that we read. So that way you get to actually read it at your own pace. So again, I love the idea that being back there at the same time, it does guide folks on actually reading the story versus not knowing, because again, there's a lot of great stories out there.
Oh yeah. Moving on over, we have X-Men Blood Hunt Psylocke one shot. This is written by Steve Fox with art by Lynn Yoshi and colors by Ruth Redmond. Guys, this is just Psylocke and Jim Crow right after, not the Marauders, the Zeb Wells team, Mr. Cinder's team after Psylocke and John Greycrow kind of like get into a relationship and leave the team. At the end of it, they go to Japan and then they fight vampires. That's all this is. This is let's fight vampires and yokai and the smiling woman in Japan. That's all this is. It's not bad. It's beautifully done. It's got good yokai lore, but at the end of the day, this is let's fight vampires in Japan.
Pretty much. But still, it still was a good read. And the fact of, I can't remember the guy's name to save my life, half metal, half guy. I can't remember his name to save my life, but loved his take on everything. Like, yeah, I'll stay here with people. You deal with the smiling slit half snake lady. Just, that was funny.
Moving on over, we got Doctor Strange, number 17. This is also Blood Hunt Time. This is also the penultimate issue of Doctor Strange because after issue 18, we're moving forward with potentially a different Doctor Strange book or a different book involving Stephen and Clea because there's potentially he may not be the Sorcerer Supreme at the end of Blood Hunt.
Oh yeah, because of I'm gonna shut up. We didn't say what happened at the first one. I did the first one. I'm shutting up.
Yeah. This is written by Jed McKay with art by Pascal Freire and colors by Heather Moore. The long story short, Mordo is trapped into the mirror world with Bats the Hound and Clea's two snakes. We learn about the tiger god for cats. So clearly there must be a dog god. So the goodest of boys gets its god. And Bats gets to become the goodest of all boys and save Dr. Strange, who somehow removing the spirit of Steven's brother also cures his vampirism.
Dog power.
I'm going to go with magic. I'm going to go with dog power, dog god power, and magic.
Yep.
And Baron Mordo just being the biggest A villain because, and I don't mean like A is like shorting for like, he's just being like the paramount villain of like, I have saved Strange because only I can kill Dr. Strange.
Yep. That's Mordo to a T. He's like, let Strange know he owes me. Wait, where are you going with that? What going with what? just let Strange know I've saved him. It's just you didn't do okay. That's still funny.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this issue was. It wasn't bad. It's fun to see Bats get like his biggest payoff ever because Bats the ghost dog is probably one of the best new additions to the Doctor Strange universe. Is this a really good issue? I'm going to be completely honest, not really, because it is so out there and they really needed just a quick write out of how to get Steven to not be a vampire for obvious reasons moving forward, that they never really solved it.
But it was funny.
I mean, it was hilarious. Like, the goodest of all boys is how you cure vampirism. But I mean, if you want to read it, it's fine. It does tie into Blood Hunt very loosely and abstractly, but still it does. And we'll see what happens in the next issue on this one. So, moving on over, we got Moon Knight #0, The Fist of Khonshu. This is written by Jim McKay with art by Alejandro Cappuccio and colors by Rachel Rosenberg. Okay, guys, so this is pretty much a primer that gets you caught up with all the Jed McKay series and sets you up with what's going on currently so that in September when Moon Knight starts back up, you're caught up. But this is a book that's used to get you caught up, or this is also serves as a great jumping in point for new Moon Knight readers. That's what this book is.
Which it was a good introduction, especially of everybody currently with the Midnight Mission, and then eventually, still talking. It's almost as if Khonshu's kind of doing how can I put this ever so nicely? Khonshu is giving just a current where are we now in the Moon Knight story. So I will say that, but no, you're right. It's a good catch up issue if you never read Moon Knight or you haven't been keeping up what happened previously as far as his fight with the Order. But yeah, it's a good starting point if you did want to hop back in.
Moving on over, we have Annihilation 2099. This is written by Steve Orlando, which we will be interviewing very soon, like a couple weeks, very soon. Art by Abram Robertson and colors by Niraj Menon. We get to look at the Nova of 2099 as he comes to the aid of a small town being assaulted by symbiote, a space gang that is being taken over by symbiotes. We learn the identity of this new Nova, which I don't really enjoy who they picked. I understand the reason why they picked Wolverine to be the last Nova or the new Nova. But I disagree with that. I feel like we're in 2099. It could have been anybody. It could have been a descendant of Richard Rider. It could have been Sam. Well, maybe not Sam Alexander himself because he would be in his 80s by that point. But like family of Sam. Again, this is just where I feel Wolverine. They use Wolverine when they just don't want to make a new character, but the costume is very cosplayable, and I probably will try and get this done at some point. But the story is good. My only issue is that it's Wolverine is one of the last Novas. But that's about it on that one. I do dig it. There's also an issue 2 floating out that just came out that deals with Star-Lord of 2099, who's a space Wakandan Empire refugee who's taken up the name, and she's fighting Quasar the Living Sun. But this issue, really good, really fun story. I just don't like that it's Wolverine.
Nova with claws?
Yeah, he pops the claws after he runs out of Nova Force.
It's just, I admit, it's weird. It is weird.
It's fine. The Annihilation thing is great. And again, if you need 2099, you just call Steve Orlando. My like I said, the biggest issue is just that it, for whatever reason, it's Wolverine. And the weird thing is I won, and I'm gonna ask him this because the last time we saw Nova in 2099, Nova was Conan.
Yeah.
Because remember, he was cursed to live forever until the soil beneath his feet burned and went into the space near the sun and tossed to earth, and it burned his feet, and he got released from everything. So I wonder if they had to use Wolverine because they couldn't use Conan.
Probably so. I mean, it's a good possibility. Yeah. It's a good possibility that may actually been the entire case.
I'm gonna have to ask Steve why it was Wolverine. But no, good space book. I enjoy it. It's my issues with it.
Nice.
Well, speaking of new things, brand new X-Men. The X-Men have restarted. This is written by Jed MacKay with pencils by Ryan Stegman, ink by J.P. Mayer, and colored by Marty Garcia. Our X-Men are Cyclops, Beast, Magneto, Psylocke, Japanese Psylocke, Kid Omega, Temper, Magic, and Juggernaut. We get reintroduced to a brand new team of X-Men. I like some of the new uniforms. I like that the assault team only consists of Magic and Juggernaut, and they constantly play rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to drop in first, even though the only two on the team.
That's still fun.
I love it so much. Temper I'm not too familiar with, but I know she was around at one point during the Jean Grey, during the Wolverine, when the two schools split between the Xavier Institute and the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning that Wolverine ran.
Yep.
We do see that the man in the chair is Magneto, being Magneto from X-Men 97, telling the nice people of Alaska, we saved you. Don't make us regret us saving you.
Don't let me let you down. I'm sorry. When reading that's what went through my head. Don't let me let you down.
Pretty much. Meanwhile, the rest of the team are over in Orchis base because they detected 7 mutant life signs. One of them is Wolverine, who just pretty much just tells Cyclops, yeah, I'm not doing this X-Men stuff for a while. I'm out. I'm getting my own book. I'm not part of any of the teams. I'm out.
Although the whole fourth echelon, fourth class, cannibalists. Okay, that's different. It's that's a little different.
So Orchis is making their own mutants where it's adults that attain mutant powers, which is bizarre. We maybe due to organ harvesting, because Wolverine you can basically have a whole organ facility out of Wolverine. But
very much
good start off. Jed MacKay knows his X-Men because, again, Jed MacKay remembers everything. Yeah. But I like this version of the X-Men. I'm excited to own it. I like this team. It's a good team mechanics. My only real issue I have with any of this book is how they drew Beast. It was very bizarre drawings of him.
Beast looks like he went to Halloween with eyeliner.
It looks like he went a little bit overboard with the high eyeliner. Yeah, that was my only issue. I like that Cyclops is full of positive reinforcement for Juggernaut.
That was funny. It's like, yes, we know you're Charles's brother, but you can still do good. You're good. Like
I am so proud of you right now.
Still, that it's odd, but it's funny. It's like we did not expect this from Summers.
I don't know what to say. This was a great book. I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see where they go with this. I do get X-Men 97 vibes from reading this, and I think it's only because it's still fresh. But yeah, I'm willing to give this a run. This feels like it's going to be a good one.
Then moving on over, we got Transformers, written by Daniel Johnson with art by Jorge Corona and colors by Mike Spicer. So let me tell you about how horrific Shockwave is, and why there's Lucifer, there's Satan, and then there's Shockwave.
Go ahead.
I just like you laughing at this because you know I'm right.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I've been making this joke for a while, but this issue illustrates my point on why Shockwave is worse than the devil. So the Autobots have finally found a steady way to repower their unit, repower other people. Mm-hmm. They break the news to Wheeljack that they lost Ratchet in another fight. Other things are happening. Decepticon land, they're also finding a way to power their other friends back up. I feel really bad for Ravage. I really do, because Soundwave is like, great, we can repower and restore and repair everybody. We can get Ravage. And Shockwave just takes Ravage's body and is like, you can do better. We can make you new Decepticons, and like starts taking Ravage over to a metal grinder to be recycled. I'm like, this is how they get them to turn. This is how Optimus gets Soundwave to turn. He finds a way to fix Ravage.
That's
like
still
everybody is just like crapping on this poor Panther cat.
It's still messed up. He's like, he had great intentions, but I'm like, not the way you want to go about it.
We also learned about Beachcomber, who is much like in the actual G1 cartoon. Total pacifist, got taken out early in the fight, just decided, you know what? If everybody's asleep, they're not fighting, meaning I get peace and time. So he's basically been on Earth all this time and has Astro Train weighed down by chains, who Astro Train is in this weird spot of, I feel bad for him because he doesn't want to do any of this. But at the same time, he will kill Beachcomber if he gets the chance.
Pretty much.
He even sympathizes with Spike. It's like, look, I'm only doing this because I got roped into this because I want to be told where Megatron is for revenge. I actually have nothing against you. It's like, this other guy, though, I will kill him if he slips up. Like, I will absolutely murder him.
You got to admire the honesty, though. You have to admire, it's like, I will take him out, but I got a reason. You're all right, though.
Meanwhile, back to Shockwave. He was like, look at the whales, look at the life of the ocean around us and its majesty and everything. I got a giant tube feeder right over here that's going to mulch him and turn him into living energy. And like, and then you see him turn it on and blue sperm whales and every sea life being sucked into it and immediately mulched to make energy for everybody.
To make energon, right. Still, wow.
It's like, and there's Shockwave. Meanwhile, Optimus, Ultra Magnus is back. They somewhat repair Ultra Magnus Alita 1's back on Earth, is now on Earth. They're trying to figure out how they're going to rescue Cliffjumper and Jazz. And to that point, I'm like, I think it's too late for those two. When they find them, bad things will happen.
I'm just going to leave it at that. Just going to leave it at
the
that.
poor Combaticons, too. I even feel bad for the Combaticons in this. They're like, I think it's Onslaught and Brawl, and Brawl's lost most of his lower half, and their Onslaught's like, once we get you back to Cybertron, we'll fix you. By the way, Shockwave has installed Cybertron in orbit around the moon.
That, you know what? Nope. Not touching with a 10-foot pole. Nope.
Again, this is a wonderful issue and only reinforces why Shockwave is worse than the devil. What did you think?
It was interesting because I did get the idea that they were trying to cover some gaps, but you know, the moment you said Shockwave was worse than the devil, I was like, I know exactly the part you were talking about. But no, overall, it was a good issue. I'm going to give it to him. I was a little bit worried as far as it was going to reach a lull in the story, and it has not. So yeah, I'm definitely digging Transformers Run so far.
So probably book of the week for me is probably going to be X-Men. It barely squeaks out Absolute Power just because some of the comedy in there and some of the other stuff and how it ends and whatnot. And plus it's X-Men, so a little bit biased. I did read Spider-Man. It's still bad. Still got awful.
But does it have a different artist?
It does have a different artist. The art looks pretty good. They are advertising that Joe Kelly is going to be writing some sort of Spider-Man event called The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, which will apparently be happening after the Amazing Spider-Man run.
Can Spider-Man just not have a run where misery doesn't follow him?
Are you not familiar with the Parker Luck?
I mean, I get that, but it's just like, can we just be different for one day? For one run, let's be different.
Yeah, we are. It's called Miles Morales.
Damn. I set that bar of expectation. That was on me. I set that bar of expectation right there. That one's on me. But touche. But no.
I also read Bailey the Spider Boy. Again, that character insists upon himself, but it's fine. We get to see Japanese Spider-Man for a hot second.
They still doing advertising? He's still advertising?
He still tells people him and Bailey switch, so Bailey's tripping through the multiverse. I think they're getting ready to say is like, oh, Bailey is over here in this world, not in our world. He's literally in the world next door. But for whatever reason, he falls into Japanese Spider-Man's world where he's piloting Leopardon. And it's like, it's the greatest thing in the world. How do I use the sword? Just say the name of the sword. And then he murders him. He's like, oh my God, I killed him. Did he have a family? Is there anybody I got to contact? It's like, Japanese Spider-Man just goes like, no, he's a monster. They like pop up once a week. We don't mourn these things. They're made from an evil organization.
That's still funny. Oh, Japanese Spider-Man. Anyway. But thank you, Joe, for the comic book pool, sir. But as we wrap this up, you want people to know where you're doing and what you're if you've got something going on, or are we back on Show Guy Joe? How are we doing?
Tafari and I have posted something on Show Guy Joe. We're watching Ultraman stuff because Tafari is, as of the 58th anniversary of Ultraman, which actually was Wednesday, watched his first Ultraman. So he got exposed to that. You can go see that video and reaction there. We're either going to watch Ultraman Arc episode 2, or we're going to watch the first episode of Ultraman Blazar, which I call Caveman Ultraman, because he is Captain Unga Bunga in that series.
Nice.
And we'll see how Tafari likes that, but he's enjoying it. So I'm glad we can move forward with that stuff. I'm playing Monster Hunter religiously right now. Also, some Zenless Zone Zero, not a bad game. Just saving up, hoping to get the pools I want. Not the ones people you're going after, because I don't care if you're S rank or how great your game makes your game. If I want a different character, I'm going to try for that one. Other than that, no, I've just been on there. Show Guy Joe for YouTube, Joe Italian last name for Twitch, Joe Italian last name for Twitter. I'm talking to some fun people on Twitter now. It's fun. It's nice. Learning things I should learn.
Oh, and also, Joe did mention during the comic book pulls that he will be interviewing. I'm sorry, what was the guy's name again, Joe, that you'll be interviewing?
Orlando.
If you don't know who he is, one very, very important in the comic book world. At the same time, also gives great deals on comics. As you know, Joe told me when he was at the con. So again, want to give him a shout out to that. And of course, can't wait to see his interview with Joe and Tafari come this August. We'll definitely be on our Give It podcast show and also on Short Guy Joe as well. But I'm sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off. Anything else you want to do? Anything else you want people to know about?
I'll be with the Ghostbusters almost all month. We're going to be at the Brick Festival tomorrow. The Lego, not Lego, but like not quite Lego Festival tomorrow. Over the fairgrounds.
Block something? Block Festival or something like that?
Yeah, Building Block Festival. Because it's definitely not Lego. It's the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll be there with them. The Nashville Horror Con is coming up. McFoley will be there, which is the only reason I'm going. The Gallatin Comic Con, I'll be there because that's got the Henry Winkler will be there, so I get to go meet the Fonz. Hey.
Nice. All right.
Other than that, I'll just be around.
Cool. Well, as for myself, guys, before I do get to myself, shameless plugging as usual. I did want to bring up Blerdcon again, just because, again, I know that we had shown you guys that it is going on right now. I want to show you guys that also on YouTube. You definitely can get live. Once it's live, it's actually not live now. But come tomorrow, you will see a live feed from Blerdcon. So you can definitely go to Blerdcon on YouTube. Or if you are in the Washington, D.C. area, definitely check out Blerdcon there, as they will be there all weekend. Again, it is a very, very, very fun con. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy others. You'll see some of my crew, some of my folks from Blerd's Eye View out there. Again, tell them hi. Have fun. But if you're not able to go, definitely watch it from the YouTube site. Also, blerdstation.com, guys. I cannot stress this enough. Also there at Blerdcon. Definitely check them out. As we keep saying, this is the place for Blerds and people of color to really bring the content here, to watch it, to have it as our own. Again, $10.99 a month. Support us through the Blerd's Eye View Affinity membership. Any member there, including myself, Black Spartan. $10.99 a month, 36 months, guys. At 36 months, you do get the ability to own a piece of Blerd Station yourself. That's a deal you just can't simply miss. And these folks, a part of Blerd Station, are there at Blerdcon. So if you do want to reach them out in person, just look for their booth. I believe it's on the second or third floor of the Hilton building, but you definitely can't miss them. As for myself, guys, you can usually find me, Black_Spartan615 on the socials. I'm usually a very friendly person. I just have one rule. Don't be weird. I will talk about anything, current news, video games, wrestling, things of that nature. But again, don't be weird. Block buttons still work. And again, I'm not in it. We're trying to be social. We're trying to spread fandoms, things of that nature. But again, don't be weird. That's all I'm asking for. The link that you're seeing at the bottom, I'll make that just a little bit bigger for you guys to see. If you copy and paste that link into your browser, it'll take you to link tree for the YouTube and Facebook groups for Give It Podcast and How I Probably Got Here, my other podcast show that happens every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Like, share, and follow. Literally cost nothing, but would mean the world to us because we simply cannot do this without you. So like, share, follow, subscribe us, not only here, but also on Show a Guy Joe, also on Safari TV, because our other broadcast partner who is currently at Blerdcon right now. So definitely, guys, like, share, and follow, and we will certainly appreciate it. Again, like I said, you usually say about cons, guys, they can be fun. But as I've said before, I do have 3 rules for a con that should be followed at all times. Number 1, respect the cosplayer at all times. Cosplaying is for everybody, regardless of your height, your weight, your color, your preference. The only rule in cosplaying, don't do blackface. That's it. You don't want your ass kicked at a con? Don't do blackface. Everything else, as long as it's not harming nobody and you're not being too lewd in front of younger children, go nuts. Also, rule number 2, hygiene is important, guys. A lot of these places at these cons may be open and free-flowing, but if you've seen Anime Expo just last week, it was nothing but sardines in a can. Hygiene is important, guys. Please wash yourselves. Please put on clean clothes. Please use deodorant because, again, it's hot. We'll know very quickly if you don't have on deodorant because your body odor will enter that door before you do. So, again, hygiene, very freaking important. Also, hydration, very freaking important because right now, if you ain't noticed, it's still summertime. It's still 90 to 95 to over 100 degrees in some areas. Please hydrate because excitement and exhaustion will lead to somebody passing out somewhere in the con. Don't believe me? I've seen it at least happen multiple times. Even at the ICon that Joe and myself both went to, along with our other friend Shadow, we've seen plenty of people pass out. Hydration is very important. And number 3 is the same rule that I have for myself as I have for everybody else. When you go to these cons, guys, be nice, be kind. You know, if you want to compliment a cosplayer, please do it properly. If you ask for a picture, they have the right to say no. They're not there for your amusement. They're not there for your enjoyment. But if you're nice and you're kind and you compliment and you ask them very politely, can I take a picture or may I have a picture? I'm going to be honest. I usually say 7 to 8 out of 10 times, you might actually get a picture with them. But it is completely okay if they say no. Please respect them because, again, they're human beings just like you. Don't be a dick. But as we wrap this up, guys, again, we do thank you all for liking, for watching Blerdcon Live. Our podcast can be found wherever you get your podcast from, whether you watch or listen to. At the same time, guys, we will hopefully be back here next Friday, same Get Bit time, same Get Bit channel. And Joe, any last words we call tonight, sir?
Axel F was a good movie. You should definitely watch the new Kiniko Man series.
Mm-hmm. I knew we were forgetting something.
I knew we were going to wait for Tafari on those.
Oh, right. We are waiting for Tafari on those. Sorry. We are waiting.
No, definitely go watch both of those. Kiniko Man is a pro wrestling anime of the most extreme terms of pro wrestling. I don't mean AEW extreme. I mean, like, we're jumping 30 feet in the air to do a muscle driver.
Yeah.
And that would make Vince McMahon blush.
It's like if ECW was animated. I mean old school ECW. I don't mean the modernized one that's out there now.
Also, bravo for them for keeping the blood in. I thought they were not going to keep the blood in, but they did. Yes, go watch those two so you know what we're talking about next week, especially Axel F, which may be the second best of all 4 of the Beverly Hills Cops, even though nobody likes 3 to begin with.
Ooh. I always wonder why nobody liked 3. But anyway.
Because he wanted to be serious in 3 as opposed to jokey.
Yeah, true. But we'll definitely cover that once our broadcast partner does return from Blerdcon. And again, guys, the last thing I'll say, we usually say about Get Bits, all about fandoms. We love them, we share them, we debate them in a very respectable and healthy way. We don't want to be gatekeepers. At the same time, if somebody's tastes are different than yours, do not put them down. Simply respect it and move on. The thing with fandoms is they are meant to bring people in because we love them. We talk about them. We want other people to experience the same joy and love that we have. Same way with cons. Simply put, guys, share, be kind, be nice. If someone's different from you, that's cool. If Sailor Moon can beat Goku in a battle, let it go. Simply put, don't be a dick, and we'll all be cool. Thank you all for watching, guys. I've been Will. He's been Joe. This has been the Get Bit Podcast tonight. Again, please hydrate. Please stay safe. I know with the hurricane situation, a lot of people are kind of without power. I know right now with the heat going on, please hydrate. Take care of yourselves. Look out for each other. And we'll see you all, guys, again next Friday. Peace.
Later.